All right, guys, ready for another installment of dating stuff. I cold approached 20,000, more than 20,000 girls, and I want to tell you guys what I learned from it. Now, what does that mean? What's a cold approach? A cold approach is when you don't know a girl, like you and I are standing at the bar, there's a girl over there, and you go, hey, hit on that girl, and I walk up and I try to hit on that girl. I've done that, I estimate, definitely more than 20,000 times since about 2006. So, as you can imagine, I've learned a lot of stuff from that, and today I thought I'd go through a few things that I learned. I got a little handy dandy list here, and I think there's about, let me see here, maybe 18 things. I had them on my phone, but then I had to write them out because my phone's recording. So here we go. These aren't maybe the 18 most important things, they're just 18 things I kind of brainstorm. There's no order, some are really good and some probably don't apply to you. So here we go. Number one, thing that I learned from approaching 20,000 girls. Now, all right, you can learn the easy way or you can learn the hard way. And you get to choose which one you want to do. Now, some guys I've noticed, myself included, were like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to learn about women. I don't need that. I can just go through my life and not learn this stuff, and magically a woman will appear, and then I'll just live happily ever after. I don't have to learn a thing. Everything will be great. I'll be okay. Nothing bad will happen. And that, my friends, is about the stupidest thing you can do in your whole life. I have seen so many examples close to me and not close to me of everyone taking that road and having terrible results. I myself decided that I was gonna like not do anything, and people said, what'd they say? Oh, when you're not looking for it, it'll happen. Well, what a load of crap. Like, shy don't get you shit. Nothing's gonna happen if you don't make it happen. So I tell those people who don't want to do this, don't want to have a journey in dating, like you need to learn. You need to like be responsible about yourself and learn about this so you don't ruin your own life. So you don't do things like, have a kid that you don't want. These are life ruining things sometimes, have a kid you don't want, or multiple kids you don't want, have a divorce you don't want. These things are terrible and they ruin your life. Don't do them. Number two, I didn't do that, by the way. Number two, people say the same thing about those game players. They say, well, I don't want to play any games. I don't want to play any games. Well, listen, the game is reality. It's a reality of life that girls are learning and how to get guys, and that they're playing games. You just have to learn what they're doing, right? You can't like change the world, right? And you think it's going to work out. It's not going to work out. This whole, I'm not going to play the game. That's crap. That's a load of crap. It's bollocks. All right. Number three. All right, baseline numbers. Everybody kind of gets the same results with girls. 2 girls, if you go talk to 10 girls, 2 of them aren't even going to want to talk to you no matter who you are. 4 of them are not going to like you, and 4 of them are going to give you a chance. Okay? So that's one major lesson I learned was, oh my gosh, this is the same for everybody? Like, I kind of had this idea, if I don't get every girl I walk up to, I'm a giant failure. Not true. You're going to have a chance with 4 girls out of 10. And if it's way less than that, then you got some real bad things, like you look terrible, or, your clothes and your fashion, your grooming looks terrible. Or, everybody just gets those results, right? So that's one thing I learned. And if you want to quit and you want to be, super butthurt about everything, some girl, I'm scared, she said this to me, like, if you want to be that way and you want to quit, there are 6 out of 10 reasons to quit. If you have 10 girls that you talk to, 6 out of 10 of them are going to not like you. You're going to have 6 out of 10 reasons to quit. So go quit. or don't. I'd prefer you don't. All right, number 4. Speaking of fashion and your grooming, those are your tickets to the show. Fashion and grooming are your tickets to the show. If you don't look good, if you're not groomed right, you got fucking ear hair coming out and shit, no one's going to want to talk to you, dum-dum. Go fix it. That's your ticket to the show. That's the first thing you do if you want to go out in social situations and have a shot with meeting girls. Make sure you look good and make sure your grooming is done. Make sure you don't smell bad and shit, you know? All right. Number 5. Getting good is more about removing bad habits or bad things you do, bad things you say, bad ways you act, than it is about adding some magic trick. Okay? What this means is, my pattern at least was I would go out, I would meet girls, I would lose a bunch, not get girls, and I would learn what things to take away or what habit I was doing or engaging in that was wrong or bad or not taken well. And then when I removed that, I would start getting better results. Okay? Adding something isn't going to help you as much as removing all those things. In fact, once you remove kind of all the bad habits, if you're just a guy who's not making mistakes with women, you're going to be the champion of the planet. I promise you, you're going to have more abundance in life with women than you ever imagined. Just not making mistakes makes you great. So that's that. What are we at now? Trying to hustle through these so this isn't a 62-minute video, you know? Okay, number 6. Patience is always received better than rushing by women, okay? So what that means is, when in doubt, make her wait. If you rush things, it always comes, well, most of the time, it comes off as needy or try hard or pushy. All those things are not nearly as attractive as a guy who's like, yeah, don't worry, you know, we can hang out in a few days, it's fine, and make the girl wait. Way better, always better. Number 7, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am with dating and fulfilling my own personal goals without world-class mentorship. Many of you know who are watching this that I had a world-class mentor or set of 3 mentors, and those guys were the best in the world, and they accelerated my process of learning dating, like, you know, beyond what I could ever imagine. That stuff is invaluable. What's hard, and what I got lucky with, was finding the right mentors. You know, I'm sure you can go on Instagram right now and find a 24-year-old dude who thinks he knows everything in the world about dating, but the reality is this stuff takes a long time to learn, and you might not know everything. You might have fixed yourself if you're a coach and you're 24, but you don't know how to fix 10 other versions of guys who are out there. Guy maybe who's overweight, guy maybe who's skinny, tall, too short, all these other problems, you know, that guys have. You might not know all those yet, you know? So I'm not saying I do. I try to know as many as I can, but what I am saying is, if you can find good mentorship, it is really, really, really nice to have, and you'll get further than you will alone just trying to figure this stuff out that you would never think of. Number 8. Like me, it doesn't take 15 years of doing this stuff and talking to girls and talking to 20,000 girls or more to get good. You don't have to do 20,000 approaches to get good. You don't have to walk out to 20,000 girls. You really don't. You can walk. I started teaching guys. I was curious, you know, how long does it take a guy to get really good who's really terrible? And how fast could I make that process happen? And what I found out was, this was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe more. I started taking a few select guys, and you know, who were just real bad, and how long is it going to take me to take this guy from 0, 0, 0, often virgins, all the way to having more than he can handle? Like maybe the guy's dating 3 or 4 or 5 girls at the same time, and it's just more than he can handle. It's too much texting. It's too much phone interaction. He doesn't have time for it in the day, and it's just too overwhelming for him. How long does it take to go from 0 to hero? And I think it takes about, if you're a really resistant student, like you're a doubter, it's like 5 months. And if you're really, really good, it's like, you know, if you just do the thing, then it's about 3 months. Which brings me to my next one, or it's somewhere on here. Like, oh yeah, here it is. We'll skip a couple. Dumb following of orders or of instructions beats smart lack of action 10 times out of 10. I've seen a lot of guys get really good with women, and they don't really think for themselves. They just shut up, and I'm like, do that, or another coach says, do that, now do this, now do that. And they do that stuff, and they get really good. They don't have to think too hard. They don't get in their head. They just do the thing. So if you can find a way or find somehow, I'm even a guy who overthinks everything. I overthink everything. But when it came to dating, for whatever reason, I was like, I'm frustrated, really frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to trust what this guy says and just do whatever he says so I can get it done. And it turns out that was the best thing I could have done. So I'd recommend you do the same. Don't overthink stuff. Wait, where was I? Oh, here we go. That was number 8. Number 9. You're going to need to want, like, really want to get better with women. Like, some guys aren't frustrated enough to take that massive action. I see it a mile away when a guy's like good, not great, and he's like, no, I got this on my own. It's cool. And then like 5 years passes and the guy checks back in and he's like, hey, you know, I could use a little help getting over a breakup or whatever. And I'm like, wow, you're still working on it? Yeah, I'm still working on this. And then, no, but I'm good though. And then he gets another girlfriend and then it's fine. He denies that he, you know, is going to need to go on a little journey of self-exploration and learning only to show up again, you know, a couple years later. So if you can move yourself towards that frustration or somehow towards that point of action, or you have some bigger reason that you really want to get this done, that would help you. You know, for me, it was, I had kind of tried everything. I knew how to get good. I went back to college too late. I became a bartender at college too late. I was like, surely bartenders know how to meet girls, you know? And then finally I was just out of options. I was out of shit, you know? And I found a mentor and immediately started improving myself and wished I had done it a lot sooner. That was number 9. 10 we did. Number 11. The entire skill of learning how to get good with women and get women attracted to you is all about interpersonal dominance skills. As your grandfather would say, or your grandma, they talked about wearing the pants. Who's wearing the pants in the relationship? In other words, who's the leader of the relationship? Who's the dominant one in the relationship? It turns out that there's a whole lot more to that than you could imagine, and your ability to be good with women is very closely linked with your ability to be interpersonally dominant with women. All right. In fact, girls get attracted to you more as they have more exposure to your dominance as a man. Interesting point. Number 12. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is gigantic. It's bigger than you think. The skills that you learn through talking with women and getting your ass handed to you also affect positively many other areas of your life that you never dreamed they would. They make your life, at least they've made my life, much, much happier. I have more friends. People like me more. Not that they like me a whole lot, maybe, but they like me more, I guess. So that's good. And you know, if I had ever known how many benefits and how grateful I would be, you know, to be where I'm at, I would have done this much sooner. It's not just about, you know, it's not just about getting women, right? All right, number 13. Guys only really want, this is something weird that I learned, it's not about me. Guys only really want a little bit better girl than they thought they could get. So if you're a woman and you're watching this, this is a really interesting thing. Guys across the board, most guys aren't like shooting for the sky. They're not like a 6 and they're like, I'm only gonna get 10s. They say that, but in practice what happens is when they get the first girl who's just a little bit better than what they thought they could get, they shack up immediately. They're like, girlfriend immediately, this is the best thing, and they don't need to shoot for like a lot higher. Guys are pretty content with like, yeah, I didn't think I could get her, now I got her. Pretty cool. That's it. It's simple. Guys are pretty simple. Number 14. This is one of my favorite lessons. figure out what price you have to pay to be good at something. And if you want to be good, pay the fucking price. That goes for dating and it goes for anything. I'll say it again. Figure out what price you have to pay. Like, what price do I have to pay to be good at this? Do I have to do 1 million of this? Do I have to do 10,000 hours? Do I have to do this? And just pay the price. Want to be good? Pay the price. You know, figure out which things are worth it to you in life to pay the price on. Pay the price. Number 15. Nothing is that big of a deal, okay? The sky doesn't fall. All your worries and the things that you're worried about aren't really going to happen. In the beginning of learning, you know, to talk to girls, I would walk up to girls and my biggest fear was like, oh, what if they reject me? And I was so like short-sighted because I didn't realize that I'd be in situations where like 9 girls were standing around me in a circle yelling at me, you don't say that to girls, wah, 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 like socially chastising me for like pushing the limits of what I could say, right? So in some ways things are worse, but in the end, at least I came out of it with a pretty thick skin. Nothing really gets me going that much anymore. When you've had 9 girls standing around in a circle yelling at you from like behind your head, in front of your head, on this side, on that side, drunk girls, like nothing's really more like the first time it happens, it's a thing. You're like a little rattled, you know, I shouldn't do that again, you know? And then about, you know, the 500th time girls are saying dumb stuff to you, it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? It's whatever, you know, I'm gonna say it anyway. Sorry about the belching. Thick skin. I'm talking about getting a thick skin, it's amazing, it's nice. Number 16. People are just taking the best action available to them at all times, every day, all the time, every minute, and every second. So if you want to understand what somebody's doing or how they're acting, and you want to be able to empathize with them, that's an important tool and an important thing to understand. Okay, I guess we'll just move on, no explanation needed. Number 17. I'm sure there's an explanation needed for that one, but I don't have it. Number 17, and one of the last 2 before we end our video today. Number 17, let the world do what it does. Just leave it alone. Guys are always saying, I was a victim of this. Why can't girls be more like this? Why can't girls see that I'm such a great guy? Why can't this be more like this? Well, I wish the world was more like this. Like, you need to quit that shit. It's not serving you and your needs. Lack of action plus blaming the world on your own problems is a recipe for failure and a recipe to just be butthurt all the time, and it doesn't help you, right? So let the world do what it does. Like I'm sure that there's people out there sticking pencils in baby dolphins' eyes, right? What a terrible problem. You know, there's a million other ones in the world. Let all those things happen and pick which one you're going to address. You don't have to address all the problems in the world, and you're not going to change it, right? So just let it do what it does. When the world comes and interacts with you, maybe deal with it, or maybe decide not to deal with it. And when it doesn't interact with you, let it do what it does. You're not going to fix it. You're not going to change it. All right, this is the last one. If you decide to jump into something scary, something that might take you a long time to learn, maybe it's a journey of self-discovery, maybe. If you decide to do that and you decide to jump in with both feet, it will all be okay. That's today's video today, guys. Hope you liked it. 18 things I learned from talking with 20,000 girls. It's been a heck of a journey. I don't know how I feel about it. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Enjoy.